Sup, guys? It's Toad back with you for Better Off Dead Monday edition, May 12th. Yesterday was a slight win, 4-3. So, it's not great, obviously, but I'll take it. We'll keep going from there. One of the losses was very frustrating, which was the Oklahoma City Thunder only winning by 6 after they had a lead that was, I think, a bit bigger than that. And then they kind of let it slip. They were up, they were really up big early in the game, kind of let that slip. This Denver team, obviously, still pretty competitive, not going away. And then OKC came down the stretch. It kind of looked like, okay, we're going to go to intentional free throws here. They'll probably cover the 6 as long as they go to the free throw line. That is not what happened. And they wound up only winning by 5 and missing by a point or 2 points, I guess, a point from pushing. So that sucked. Dallas Stars in NHL playoffs got theirs. My NHL playoffs continue to do really well, actually better than NBA playoffs. Both of them have been pretty good, though, this year. And then baseball sort of got back on track with a 3-2, I believe, as the first 2 both hit with both the underdog plays. Milwaukee Brewers, they won on the first 5-inning wager, and they won the full game as well. So I think I nailed that one. Texas Rangers, pretty easy win as well. Nathan Eovaldi, really good start from him. So that went well as well. Nailed that one. And then we lost on the San Francisco, Minnesota under. So that did not go well. So that made it 2-1. I mean, that game went way over the total, but both teams did score a lot based on how many hits they got. They scored a lot of runs, like more than what would be expected from the hit totals that they had, at least. What can you do? It was a loss, and both starters are kind of mediocre. Baltimore Orioles, I'm pretty sure, got there as well on that money line play. And then we did lose on Seattle on the run line as they got just whacked. I mean, I don't know what to say about that one. Bryce Miller, just surprisingly bad. I don't know what's going on with him because he had good historical numbers against the opposing lineup. He's way better at home. I mean, I pointed all this out yesterday. Pretty surprising on that one. But let's move on to today. We got the NBA playoffs. My Boston Celtics at the New York Knicks. Celtics cut the series deficit to 2-1. In this game, they're up from 6 to 6.5. Slight movement there, but 71% of tickets on them, and 55% of the cash coming back onto the Knicks. I think that's recency bias again, where the public is now back on the Celtics after the Celtics totally manhandled the Knicks in game 3, which was more what we expected. I mean, that was a bet for me on the show. I won on that one. This is a series that now we've had, how many minutes have been played now in the series? 100, somewhere around like 140. And the Celtics have led for like 121 of those minutes or something in the entire series. And the Knicks never had the lead at all in game 3. And the Celtics have had leads of 20, 20, and 31 in the 3 games. Yet the Celtics have lost 2 games. It is ridiculous. The Celtics are obviously the better team in the series. They've been the better team in the series. The Knicks' biggest leads in the respective games were 6-3 and 0, by the way. No lead in game 3. So Celtics obviously have had the upper hand in every single game, really. And it's just that they fell apart. And even though the Celtics had their 2 worst shooting performances basically of the season in the first 2 games of the series here, they came back and they had a ridiculous shooting performance in game 3 where they, instead of shooting 25% from 3, they shot 50% from 3. So now, unfortunately, I do probably have to lean with the Knicks plus the points here in the zigzag, but hopefully for my sake, the Celtics at least just get the game done outright, get the win. I won't care about the side because I won't have money on it, but I think if there's going to be regression here, it will be the Celtics regressing. I mean, they're not going to shoot 50% from 3 again, most likely. They probably are not going to shoot 25% either, though. So the Celtics usually are somewhere in the high 30s percent-wise from 3. And if they do that, they should probably be able to win the game because they are the significantly better team. Whether or not they cover, I would lean probably against that because the Knicks did also shoot really poorly from 3 in that game 3. So I expect the Knicks to maybe do a little bit better and progress a little bit in this one. Towns especially shot really poorly. So if you want to look for player props, Towns probably will have a better game than he did in the previous game. But Celtics also, Jason Tatum has not had a good game in the entire series so far, even in the blowout win. And Tatum has kind of been a Nick killer over the last couple of years. So we're still waiting for his breakout game. So player prop wise, you want to look for Jason Tatum to go over his point total or something. I don't hate that either. He might finally actually break out and do that. If he does that, Celtics maybe should be able to win this game. But of course, I'm not going to play the game. Anna, what's up? Oh, we got the comment section going wild here. The Karen Reed trial. I don't know if you can bet on that. Maybe you can. It's such a popular trial. Excuse me. As I sneeze here, allergies, I think. You watched basketball last night? Yeah, I mean, the games were actually somewhat entertaining, I think, but I wasn't watching them, so I don't know for sure. And I lost money on that one. You're an old lady. Yeah, I mean, the reffing is just terrible now as well. Oh, thank you. I'm the only good person in the entire state of Mass. That's true. Oh, thank you. Thank you again. Yes, root for the Celtics just for me. Thank you, Anna. T-Wolves and Warriors. I mean, of course, we know Curry is still out, which is why the line is sitting 5.5 on the T-Wolves on the road, which is where they were in the last game as well. The T-Wolves won and didn't cover as the Warriors did hit like a 3, I think, at the buzzer or something that was meaningless, but it covered the spread for the Warriors in the previous game. I mean, my lean in this one would probably be to the T-Wolves, man. I mean, the Warriors are this weird, like, they're looking like a public home underdog here. As the public saw the Warriors play pretty well. They're generally a public team, although I'm kind of surprised the public would be on them without Curry, but I think because they look pretty competitive without him. And even in game one, after he went down, they were very competitive in the game. 64% of tickets and only 56% of cash on the Warriors. So I would lean to the T-Wolves in this one. I mean, they are the better team. They play defense. Just in general, and they're in general the better team, but they also have the better rotation, like a deeper rotation as well than the Warriors do. So the Warriors should be motivated though, because they don't want to have to go back to Minnesota down 3-1, because this is 2-1 Minnesota right now. Warriors know if they lose this game down 3-1 with multiple games remaining on the road, they're not going to win this series. So you might still see an all-out effort from the Warriors here, which is what worries me a little bit, but slightly into the T-Wolves. We do see some more line movement here on the side of the Celtics, by the way, but still slightly into taking the points with the Knicks there. I'm not going to play either hockey game either. It does look like a bounce back spot for the Capitals here, even though I think Carolina is the better team. I mean, obviously, they're a huge favorite at home. Maybe too much so, but I played Carolina in game 3. Thought it was a good spot after kind of a misleading result where I think they lost by some margin that looked pretty misleading in game 2. And I was like, all right, Carolina's coming back home. They're going to bounce back. But in this game, after a shutout of Washington in the previous game, where statistically, I don't know if it was as much of a blowout game as it looked. I could look real quick, actually, but I think it is maybe a spot where you could just grab Washington on the puck line here and expect them to come within 1 goal here, because Carolina does play a lot of fairly close games and defensive games here. In the last game, Carolina did, shoot them, out hit them, not by a whole lot. And then the penalty minutes were very lopsided with Washington going to the penalty box a lot in that game. So Carolina, I mean, because of the nature of how they play, low scoring, I mean, I think they'll probably get out of here with the win as well, like still, but I would lean to taking Washington plus 1.5 goals on the puck line. I don't know what you have to pay for it, but that's probably the way that I would lean here, expecting a bit of a closer game. But Carolina also has a very good home record. They have one of the best home records in their home records. They have one of the best home records in hockey. So I'm not jumping out of my seat to fade Carolina at home. Vegas cut the series deficit to 2-1 after they lost both games on the road. They actually then are both games at home. Excuse me. They actually won on the road. So the road team has actually won every game in the series. I think at this point, maybe the zigzag will work here and Edmonton will show up and win this game. I mean, Edmonton has been getting pretty good goaltending, actually, surprising out of Picard. He's kind of been their guy now, and he's been fending off a lot of shots from Vegas, but Vegas has been putting up a lot of good scoring opportunities. Both of these teams could score a lot. Vegas does still have the better goaltending and the better defense, but it's expected to be a high-scoring game with the total at basically 7 almost, which is kind of crazy. 6.5 juice to the over there. That is a crazy NHL total. You almost never see one that high. 67% of tickets, 78% of the cash on Edmonton. Line up a little bit from minus 125 to minus 128. So slight lean to Edmonton in the game. And Carolina, by the way, 82% of tickets and only 58% of the cash, with their money line dropping from minus 231 to minus 227. So slight lean to Washington on the puck line and to Edmonton just in the slight zigzag spots. But that Vegas-Edmonton game was so close in the previous game, Vegas being down in the series. And I think Vegas has a decent chance to win this series. I wouldn't be surprised if they do win, although I do have Edmonton winning it in my bracket. So that was my initial reaction. So maybe I won't go against that. But Saab, what's up, man? Good luck to you as well. You're on Vegas on the money line. Yeah, I mean, I just talked about that one. I don't have a good read on the game, to be honest. I have a slight lean against that, but Vegas winning would definitely not shock me. Yeah, they blew a 2-0. The Oilers blew a 2-0 lead in game 3. That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough way to lose for sure. They lost right at the end there. It was a goal in like the final seconds, right? As you said, a buzzer beater. It was right at the end of regulation. Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, that might mean like there's kind of a letdown aspect to that where Vegas might be in a little bit of a letdown spot, but it is the playoffs. And when you're down 2-1, you might not really be in a letdown spot. And then you're right. That is a tough way to lose for the Oilers. So it could kind of hang them over a little bit. But again, I don't have a great read on that game. Talking about baseball now, I got Milwaukee going to Cleveland. This is the day where all the new series starts. So Cleveland's staying at home. Milwaukee is traveling from Tampa to Cleveland. We got Freddie Peralta, though, from Milwaukee. And I actually think his start got pushed back one day. He's had a groin issue, apparently. He's been Milwaukee's best starter, though. I mean, 2.18 ERA, 1.04 whip. So I'm never really, jumping out of my seat to fade Freddie Peralta. Against Cleveland, he has pretty good numbers as well. 31 at-bats career, 161 average, 438 OPS. So he has really low numbers against Cleveland. So again, I think Peralta does have a bit of the upper hand, even though I do talk about how pitchers are kind of creatures of habit there, where if you kind of shift their schedule a little bit, they might not do as well. But Peralta, he's a veteran. I mean, he's the ace of the staff, so I don't think it's going to affect him that much. Ben Lively is pitching for Cleveland. He's been fairly good this season, kind of surprising because I don't think he is that good. 1.2 whip, 3.46 ERA. He's just kind of chugging along. I mean, he has too high of a walk rate, in my opinion. Not a really good strikeout walk ratio. He's not really a strikeout pitcher, though, and he is basically limiting the damage and keeping guys off the base paths. Against Milwaukee, decent numbers, 58 at-bats, 241 average, slightly high 744 OPS against them because a couple of home runs in there. Yelich does really well against him, 5 for 14 with a home run. So maybe a slight lean to Milwaukee in that one, even though they are traveling. But if you play Milwaukee, I would say it's only on the first 5 innings because you do not want to have Milwaukee's bullpen involved basically ever because their bullpen is terrible. But Cleveland used a lot of their bullpen yesterday, more than Milwaukee did, I think. So Cleveland's bullpen isn't exactly in the greatest shape. So I'm staying away from the game. You got 58% of tickets on Milwaukee as a road favorite. I mean, that's how much respect Peralta is getting in the marketplace. The odds makers are telling you Peralta is that much better than the pitcher on the opposing side there, Lively. Milwaukee down from -130 to -128, though, with the cash coming in on Cleveland, 60%. And yeah, I could see the sentiment as far as like professional bettors looking for value there, thinking that Milwaukee being a road favorite like that is a little bit ridiculous, but we will see. Detroit is staying at home after getting shellacked kind of by Texas yesterday. I was on that game. Obviously, I won on Texas yesterday. Detroit did have to roll out a bunch of their bullpen yesterday, and my Boston Red Sox didn't have to use as much of their bullpen. They used a couple of their relievers, though. They did use Chapman to save the game against Kansas City there. So bullpen situation, maybe a little bit of a wash, actually, because Detroit's bullpen is a little bit better, but they did use a little bit more of them. Tanner Houck pitching, I mean, you know how I feel about Houck. I mean, I don't trust this guy at all. 6.1 ERA, 1.5 whip. And yes, that's all being skewed by one horrendous start against Tampa Bay, but he hasn't exactly been lights out since then. He had a really good start against Toronto, who he historically does well against, but kind of backslid against Texas with another bad start. Will he show up and have a good start this time? I don't know. I mean, it's really difficult to gauge. He does have good numbers against Detroit, though. 57 at-bats, a 211 average allowed, 613 OPS. So that's not bad. And Job, pitching for Detroit, has been kind of a mixed bag. I mean, he's a young guy. He's shown glimpses of being really good, shown glimpses of not being really good. He's coming off a really tough outing, but it was at Coors Field. But really 2 road outings in a row where he wasn't good, but he is back at home now. 1.48 whip, 4.88 ERA is not good, obviously. I mean, that's not going to get it done, but he is way better at home with a 2.7 ERA at home, 6.11 on the road. So he's definitely better at home, and the Red Sox have never seen him before, and he's a young guy. He does walk too many guys right now, but I would kind of hesitate to want to do anything with the Red Sox here. Probably, I mean, I might say I slightly lean against the Red Sox here, but I mean, Job is like a total question mark. Both pitchers are question marks. You don't know what you're going to get out of either of them. Detroit's sitting at minus 106 here, and Detroit is really, really good at home in general, though, so that might kind of put it over the edge, and they're probably kind of angry after losing a series at home when they've been so good at home. Although, of course, Detroit can't really continue being this good, but they are still good at home. 78% of tickets, only 76% of cash, though. So Detroit is the public side. St. Louis is at Philadelphia. Philadelphia is returning from a 2-series road trip to Tampa and Cleveland. I mean, not a huge road trip, but still, when you return home from a road trip, you've been away for a while. These guys are still, having to get back to family life. It is a little bit of a distraction. St. Louis is coming off of a sweep. I mean, they won a bunch of games in a row, so they got momentum right now. They're coming off back-to-back sweeps after sweeping a doubleheader against the Mets, but they swept Pittsburgh and Washington. So, I mean, I think we can kind of dial it back a little bit because those two teams aren't good, but they got Liberatore on the mound here, and he's been pitching really well this season. 0.95 whip. Anything below 1 is really good. 3.07 ERA, a 38-6 strikeout walk ratio is crazy. Almost 1 strikeout per inning and fewer than 1 hit per inning. Very good numbers. He's going pretty deep into most games, except he had that shortened start against Cincinnati, which might have been a rain delay or something. I don't know what that was, but he's overall pitching quite well. And against Philadelphia, very good numbers as well. In 53 at bats, he's got a 20-4 strikeout walk ratio, a 189 average, and a 548 OPS. Oh, which, by the way, I forgot. This is one of my plays. I'm going under the 8 in this one. So that's Liberatore's side of it. His numbers are very, very good against Philly. But on the other side, I don't really want to fade Philly either. And I know both of these teams have mediocre bullpens. They both used a few of their relief pitchers yesterday. So if you want to go first 5 innings on this play, that also makes sense. First 5 innings under. I'm going full game. Hopefully the pitchers get us deep enough into the game because Liberatore does go deep into these games. Sanchez doesn't quite as much, but I mean, he's done okay going deep into games this year. But Christopher Sanchez for Phillies, 1.23 whip is a little bit high, indicates that his 2.89 ERA should probably be a little bit higher. He just walks too many guys. I mean, fewer than 1 hit per inning is good. 32 hits and 37 in the third. 44 strikeouts is really good. So he is notching a lot of strikeouts here, man. So that's good. I mean, he has good stuff. But against Philadelphia, very good number. Or excuse me, against his own team. Yeah, no. Against St. Louis, very good numbers. 34 at bats. No extra base hits allowed. 206 average and 476 OPS. So both starters, I believe, have the upper hand in this matchup. So I am going to go under in that game. And hopefully that gets there. Thank you, Anna. Hopefully, yeah, because, I mean, March really kind of derailed my year this year. It's been fairly good besides that, but we will see. And then we got Pittsburgh and the Mets. This is one game where, I mean, the Mets are coming off beating the Chicago Cubs. They're staying at home, but I think the Mets might be feeling a little bit high on themselves right now. Now they got to face Paul Skeens, and you're actually in a rare situation where you get Paul Skeens as an underdog. In Pittsburgh, they just won a series at home against the Braves, which is pretty good. And yeah, they were celebrating because they had a walk-off win. Big win for them for sure. So they might be in a little bit of a letdown spot. But are you really going to be in a letdown spot when you have a really bad record like Pittsburgh does and you're facing a team with one of the best records in baseball, the Mets? I don't think you're really going to be let down. And a lot of times starting a road trip is a good, like, focus spot. So I do think Pittsburgh's in a focus spot here. Obviously, I like Paul Skeens. 2.77 ERA, 0.95 whip. I mean, there's not a whole lot else to say about this. I mean, basically, I mean, he's an ace pitcher. He just doesn't get run support from this terrible Pittsburgh team here, But against the Mets, he has also done pretty well. Only 14 at bats, though. So very small sample size. A 214 average, but a 767 OPS, a little bit high just because McNeil does have a home run off him, but not a whole lot to take away from that. I mean, Skeens is good, and I think he's better than his counterpart here, David Peterson, who has a 1.36 whip. So I don't think he can really hang on to this 3.05 ERA for much longer. That whip is really bad. I mean, he's walking too many guys. He's given up more than 1 hit per inning as well, but his walk rate, not great. I mean, decent strikeout rate, but 36-13 strikeout walk ratio, 39 hits allowed and 38 in the third innings pitched. Up against Pittsburgh, though, he hasn't been that bad. So 40 at bats, 14 strikeouts to 8 walks, though, and 3 home runs allowed. So too many walks and strikeouts, but he's held them to a 200 average, although 758 OPS. So both starters actually have low average against these opposing hitters, but kind of a high OPS. So they've both kind of had big damage done to them, but more so Peterson, because Skeens, it's 1 home run allowed, so who cares? The Mets, however, have the better offense and the better bullpen, so obviously that's factoring into why they're favored here. So I can't quite do it. They got 53%. I think it's 77% of the cash on the Mets. The money is coming in on the Mets, up from minus 128 to minus 147. But I mean, at some point, I think just because it's Skeens against Peterson, if you want to take Pittsburgh as an underdog in the first 5 innings, I mean, I think that probably makes sense to do it. Grabbing the money line on Pittsburgh in the first 5 innings to have Skeens outpitch Peterson. I mean, if Pittsburgh's going to lose, I think they might lose later in the game. So I would probably still lean to Pittsburgh, though, just based on the spot as well. Just lean to them in general. But first 5 innings, to take the bullpens out of the equation might be a little bit better, as the Mets have the better bullpen. And then my other play is on Washington in the first 5 innings, because I want nothing to do with Washington's basically historically bad bullpen right now. As you can see here, if I can zoom in, 7.13 ERA for Washington's bullpen. Unbelievably bad. Although Anaheim is almost that bad now, 6.94. So, but I want no part of Washington's bullpen, even though they're pretty rested coming into this game. But Atlanta, they're returning over from a road trip, although it was only a quick road trip to Pittsburgh. They lost the series. So, yeah, one might think, well, Atlanta's going to bounce back here because they are the better team. But Washington, I think, has the upper hand in the pitching matchup, and they've lost 5 games in a row, man. They just got swept pretty ugly fashion. And when that's happening at home and you lose all these games at home, one of the best things for you is to just forget about that. Go out on the road. Don't listen to the local media or whatever. Just go focus on baseball. So I think that's what Washington can do here. And they got a pitcher who might be able to help them do that with Jake Irvin pitching, who's been one of their best starters. I mean, Gore has been their best, even though he didn't pitch well yesterday. Irvin is their second best right now, 1.15 whip, 3.94 ERA. He's putting up pretty good numbers. 33 strikeouts is not a high strikeout rate and 48 at bats, but he's only allowed 41 hits. So he's not striking guys out. He is allowing too many home runs with 9. So he's got to keep that under control. And the 14 walks only kind of looks bad because of the strikeout rate is only 33. And yes, his fly ball rate is too high, but he's not allowing hits, not having men really get on base against him that much. And against Atlanta in a big 72 at-bat sample size, he's held him to a 208 average, 640 OPS. So Irvin has actually done pretty well against Atlanta. Grant Holmes on the other side, I think, is less trustworthy with a 1.25 whip, 4.58 ERA for Atlanta. Mediocre numbers. I mean, he's a serviceable pitcher, but a 40 to 20 strikeout walk ratio is not that great. He's walking way too many guys. That walk rate is really high. He hasn't allowed many hits, but he also has allowed a lot of home runs, 8 home runs. So similar to Irvin, and 29 hits in 39 and third innings is quite good, and the 40 strikeouts is good as well. But he has a slightly high fly ball rate as well, somewhat, and just way too many walks. So he's putting too many men on base, 20 walks, and up against Washington here, his numbers are mediocre. Well, actually not mediocre. They're actually bad, but it's a small sample size. See, I'm trying to remember what I saw this morning. Washington's hitters are actually 3 for 5 off in lifetime with no extra base hits, no walks, and no strikeouts. So a 600 average and 1,200 OPS. Small sample size, so not much you can take away from it, but still, that's not good numbers. So I will take Washington. First 5 innings as an underdog. The Cubs coming off that series against the Mets where they lost the series. They've lost a couple series in a row now. And I believe they're staying. Oh, no, they're returning home from New York. Excuse me. So they're returning home from a quick road trip to New York. So not a whole lot to see there. Miami is starting a road trip. I don't know. They're continuing a road trip. They're staying in Chicago. Excuse me. So Miami actually has less travel because they're already in Chicago, which normally I would say is an advantage to Miami because they have less travel staying there. But Cal Quantrill is on the mound with a 7.11 ERA, 1.67 whip. That's terrible. And against the Cubs, his numbers are horrific. In 69 at-bats, he's allowed 20 RBIs, 7 walks, 406 average, 1,034 OPS. So there's no way I want anything to do with Quantrill here. Colin Ray pitching for Chicago for the Cubs. I think he's going to start to regress, and we kind of are seeing that a little bit. I mean, he's not as good as his early season numbers. Look, I mean, he's been decent, but a 1.21 whip indicates his 2.43 ERA should certainly be higher than it is. And up against Miami, let me see, what are his numbers here? Only 6 at bats, and they are 2 for 6 off him. 333 average, 667 OPS. So not much you can really take away from that. Very small sample size. Ray's still a better pitcher than Quantrill, but I'm not going to get involved in this game. I mean, if you want to play the Cubs team total over, you can go over 4.5, but you do have to lay like minus 130 or something on it. So I'm not going to touch it. I mean, an over actually might also make sense here. If you think Ray might struggle a little bit here, and the Cubs bullpen isn't that great either. And if Quantrill is going to get lit up in this game a little bit, that might make sense. Colorado, I mean, they actually just won. So I was wrong. I was like, they're technically in a bounce back spot if they're losing 21-0, but I was like, are they really going to be able to win this game? I liked the over instead in that game, which did happen, even though I didn't play it, unfortunately. But Colorado ended this long loss streak, man. They had lost 8 games in a row or something, and they actually beat San Diego, and now they get to carry that out on the road with them to Texas. Although Colorado does struggle quite a bit on the road. They do have Dollander on the mound, who is unknown to most opposing hitters. So Texas has never seen him before, but he is struggling in his rookie season. 7.71 ERA, 1.64 whip. Decent strikeout rate with 25 and 28 innings. 13 walks is too high. 33 hits allowed is too high. So I don't think we could trust Dollander yet. But he does at least have an unfamiliarity edge there. And Colorado does at least have a little bit of momentum now that they stopped their losing momentum, and starting a road trip usually is a focus spot. Texas is returning home from a road trip where they went to Boston and Detroit. So usually I do like to lean to a team that's starting a road trip against a team that's finishing a road trip, because the team starting a road trip leaves the home distractions behind and can be focused. Team returning home from a road trip tends to be unfocused. I just don't know that I can do it, man. I can't really put my money on Dollander or on the Rockies at all right now, really. Tyler Mahle for the Rangers. I mean, again, I'm expecting him to regress a bit because a .98 whip and a 1.48 ERA is just ridiculous. It seems unsustainable. And in his last game, he didn't even have any strikeouts in 5 innings against the Red Sox. That's a little bit of a red flag there. He's allowed very few hits, 27 and 42 and 2/3, but 32 strikeouts, a bit of a low strikeout rate, 15 walks, not a very good strikeout walk ratio. And up against Colorado, Mahle has 33 at bats against them, actually, but they have a 303 average off him and 1,051 OPS. So if you wanted to take a flyer on the Colorado Rockies there, I don't hate it. I mean, you could take plus 1.5 runs, probably, maybe even plus 2.5 runs, whatever gives you the kind of the best price on that. If you wanted to take Colorado run line, I wouldn't really try to talk you out of it. I mean, I would probably slightly lean that way. Kansas City is starting a road trip after losing to the Red Sox. You know, they should be focused, coming off a losing series at home, starting a road trip. As I always say, it is a focus spot. Houston, though, saved their bullpen yesterday, and they're not traveling. They're staying at home, as Ronel Blanco gave them 8 innings yesterday in a win. So Houston does have the bullpen rest edge, and they have a pretty decent bullpen. So Houston does have some edges here, even though Kansas City should be in a focus spot. Michael Wacha, good numbers this year, 2.98 ERA, 1.15 whip. He's not quite as good as those numbers look, but against Houston, I mean, he's kind of a veteran kind of journeyman pitcher at this point, although he has been getting the job done year after year, just being able to command his pitches. But against Houston, bad numbers in 39 at bats, a 308 average, allowed 902 OPS. So that is not good. And Ryan Gusto goes for Houston, which I don't know if that means Houston's going with a bullpen game or not. You never know how limited Gusto is going to be. You don't know how long they're going to leave him in there. A 1.27 whip isn't that great. His 2.93 ERA should be a little bit higher, but he does have a 29-8 strikeout walk ratio and 27 and 2/3 innings, 27 hits allowed. So those numbers are actually good. A good strikeout rate, hit rate is fine, a good strikeout walk ratio. So I probably have to slightly still lean to Houston with the starting pitching matchup there. And if Houston goes bullpen, their bullpen is well rested here. So a bullpen game might actually not hurt them. They're sitting at a small favorite, down from minus 115 to minus 109, but slightly lean that way. But Kansas City should be in a focus spot there. San Diego's returning home from a road trip after losing to Colorado, which is ugly. And they're returning from the longest road trip here as they swept Pittsburgh. Then they lost in the Bronx against the Yankees. And then they won the series at Colorado, losing the final game. And now returning home from all that, out of elevation, it's a bad spot for San Diego, man. Obviously, returning home from a road trip is a bad spot. Anaheim just lost at home to Baltimore. That was one of my wins yesterday. Tyler Anderson didn't get the job done. Eflin pitched fairly well for Baltimore. So now Anaheim should be in the focus spot, starting a road trip here. And they're only traveling from Anaheim down to San Diego. So the travel spot is a lot better. The focus spot is a lot better for Anaheim, starting a road trip. But do I want to have money on Yusei Kikuchi? Not really. I mean, his 3.83 ERA looks good, but a 1.46 whip, very bad, indicating that his ERA should be worse. 39 to 20 strikeout walk ratio. That's not going to get it done. That's way too many walks. And his splits are also bad as far as road games. He's got a 1.65 home ERA this year. So he is definitely a home pitcher, and a 5.19 ERA on the road. Very bad. And yes, I know that this is a pitcher-friendly park in San Diego, but still his numbers are bad on the road, significantly worse than at home. And against San Diego, his numbers aren't good either. In 57 at-bats, 6 home runs allowed, 15 to 7 strikeout walk ratio, 298 average allowed, and 1,042 OPS. So his numbers not good there. Michael King is obviously the better pitcher. 0.99 whip, 2.22 ERA for San Diego. Very high strikeout rate, more than 1 per inning, well below 1 hit per inning, but he's been a little bit wild, which has kind of been his thing. He walks too many guys, but he's a power pitcher, so he does kind of just get away with it to a lot of an extent. And against Anaheim, his numbers are quite good. He's allowed only 2 hits in 30 at-bats against them and struck out 11, 0.067 average and 225 OPS. So King completely dominates them. So the starting pitching matchup is very much in favor of San Diego. I think the situation favors Anaheim a little bit, but Anaheim also has a terrible bullpen, and San Diego's bullpen is better. But San Diego's up from -206 to -214. Starting pitching matchup looks good. Situation doesn't look that great, so I just can't do it. 95% of tickets, 96% of the cash coming in on San Diego. Yankees and Seattle, I would actually look to maybe a sneaky under in this one. Seattle, I believe, is staying at home and coming off an ugly losing series against Toronto, where they got swept. So they should be pretty motivated here. The Yankees are coming in already on the Pacific Coast, at least, so they're already adjusted to the time zone. They just beat the A's. Clark Schmidt hasn't been good. 4.79 ERA, 1.4 whip, 19 to 10 strikeout walk ratio is terrible. Way too many walks. But against Seattle, he does have pretty good numbers. 61 at bats. He's on with 246 average, 649 OPS, 16 to 3 strikeout walk ratio. And then Emerson Hancock, I mean, he has not been pitching well so far. 5.7 ERA, 1.56 whip. But both pitchers have actually started pitching a little bit better recently. And Hancock hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs in any start since his opening start, where he got completely lit up and only went 2/3 of an inning. So his numbers aren't really as bad as maybe they look, but he is still allowing way too many hits. 30 and 23 and 2/3. 17 to 7 strikeout walk ratio isn't that bad. And I believe the Yankees have never seen him. Let me see. No, they're 0 for 5 off him. Only Bellinger and Grisham have seen him before, and they're 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. So could be a sneaky under in that game. Looks like the total has dropped a bit from 8.5 down to 8.5, juice to the under. So that might be the way I would lean. And then Arizona, San Francisco to finish this off. Arizona just lost at home to the Dodgers. Got smacked 8-1. I told you I kind of leaned to the Dodgers, even though it seemed like the professional money was against it yesterday. Arizona now gets to leave, go on the road, which again, I think is a good thing. You get to refocus a little bit. San Francisco, they're coming off, they are returning home from a road trip, so it is an unfocused spot for San Francisco. Oh, by the way, Philadelphia and Cleveland both played in the night game last night, so also reasons to lean to St. Louis and Milwaukee slightly in those games, but I'm going more with just, the pitching matchups and whatever here. San Francisco returning home from a road trip should be a pretty unfocused spot for them, even though they are coming off getting swept by the Minnesota Twins. Justin Verlander is on the mound. He does have good numbers against the opponent here, which is Arizona, but he has good numbers against basically everybody, and he's not as good now as he has been. In 97 at-bats, he's on to a 179 average, 507 OPS, and a 28 to 3 strikeout walk ratio. But this season, 4.5 ERA, 1.31 whip is not good. I mean, he's been serviceable, not really getting lit up in any game. He's been decent. So I don't know if I really want to fade him necessarily. Merrill Kelly, veteran pitcher for Arizona, 1.05 whip this year is pretty good. 4.09 ERA, maybe it should be a little bit less based on that whip. I mean, he doesn't come in and strike guys out, but he doesn't put a lot of guys on base. Doesn't allow a whole lot of hits. So he's decent in general. And against San Francisco, he's in 151 at bats, still under 219 average, 740 OPS, which is a little bit high. But I think that maybe the lean in that one would still be, I think Arizona, the situation is better for Arizona. So still slight lean to Arizona there. The total's down from -120 to -106 on the Giants, but 57% of tickets and 65% of the cash on them. That's going to do it for me, man. Tower Gang Toad on Twitter. Philly, St. Louis under the total, and Washington Nationals money line. First 5 innings are the only plays today. Tower Gang Toad on Twitter, patreon.com/Tower Gang. Have a good one. Peace.